Good morning, good morning to you. Good morning to you. Hold on. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Much better. I had the mic on the wrong way. Oh, it's been one of those mornings. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Me First Morning. My name is Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson, and I am your host, also the host of a show called Soul Seekers TV. I'm an intuitive coach and an energy healer, a mom of three boys, a very happy wife, and of course, here for you. So, my main mission, in case you forget, and I try to remind you every day, is to help you calibrate your energy and to help you integrate self care into easy, doable steps, such as this morning routine that we do together, and also how to embrace your own natural gifts, your inner magic, so that you can go for the life that you love. You can do it. I believe in you, and I'm here to cheer you on. Okay, for those of you who have not yet subscribed to my YouTube page, go to Jumpstart for Page, not Jumpstart for Page, go to Jumpstart for Change right now and go and subscribe to my YouTube channel right this moment. Ding that little bell for notifications so that you will know exactly when I am on the air and we're doing this show. So I would love to have you here. I would love to get some more subscribers. I would love for you to spread the word to anybody who you think may find these Me First Mornings useful. Okay, also on the business side, make sure that if you have not done so yet, I'm going to put it up here, get your GPS workbook. So we've been talking about the Me First formula. Or the Me First method, however you want to look at it, but I usually call it the formula, even though it's not necessarily a formula you need to follow, but more of a formula that you can apply if necessary, right? So Me First is an acronym. It is M for momentum, E for energy, F for focus and frequency, I for inner work, R for relationships, S for showing up, which is the topic we're going to be covering today, and T is for trust. But the first step that you need to take for you to be able to really fully embrace this formula is figure out what your GPS word is. And so I have a free GPS workbook. It's written right there, free GPS workbook. Go to bit.ly/GPS workbook, and you can go through it and find out what is your foundational word or phrase, or we've evolved it to, like, you can even have a feeling that you want to capture that maybe a song captures for you. And so it's just something that you can have as a touchstone for your foundation, so that when you're feeling off or disconnected or out of touch, you bring yourself back with the work you've done through the GPS workbook. Hi, Dad. Good morning. Thank you for your good energy. I send it right back to you tenfold. So here we are. Don't forget that if you want to follow me on social media, I post different things in different places. So you can go and check me out on Instagram. You can find me through Soul Seekers TV or Patricia Ribeiro Wolfson, or then follow me on TikTok. I just started getting into TikTok and I could use a few followers. So come on to TikTok at Calibrate Your Energy is where you can find me. Okay, let's take that GPS workbook out. I mean, we don't have to, but we're going to remove that for now and we're going to get started. So today we are going to talk about showing up. It is so important because we talk about achieving these big dreams or having these big plans, and very often when we prepare these plans or when we have these ideas, we always have sort of like external things that we need to acquire or people we need to connect to. And there's a lot of stuff going on outside of us. But the real test and the real practice is showing up for yourself and doing what you need to do, because no matter, what tools or strategies are going to help you, whether it's, a business coach or you know, something that you apply, or whether it is anything else in your life, if you have support, the main thing, even if you have the best coaches, even if you have the best consultants, even if you have the best mentors, even if you have the best friends, the one thing that nobody can do for you is to show up for you. And so we're going to talk about that and how you can start showing up for yourself in small ways and in big ways, and practice how to show up for yourself to also let the universe know what exactly is you really want. Because when you show up, the universe is like, oh, there you are. Okay, we'll meet you halfway, or we'll meet you there. All right. So let's just do our morning ritual. Okay. Here on Me First Mornings, we start with a routine that's really simple that you can do on your own any day at any time of day. And you can extend it to make it a long routine, or you can keep it short and sweet like we do it here. And it's basically like a 10-minute morning routine. So let's start by lighting our candle. This just sets the space, adds a little bit of that sacred space energy. We light the candle. We call in the energies that are going to support us through our day, and we'll do that with the prayer. But in the meantime, the candle is the first step, and I can already feel my body kind of tuning in and relaxing because, we've kind of trained it, or I've trained it through these Me First Mornings to be ready for relaxation once the candle goes on. Smell the essential oils. You can use any essential oil you want. For those of you who want to know, I use Sacred Frankincense here by Young Living. I also use plenty of doTERRA oils and independent companies that, are sustainable and have good quality stuff. Be careful because essential oils are, um, of the earth and stuff, but you can definitely, if you do not use them properly, which I learned a few years ago, you can definitely cause damage. So be very, very conscientious of the oils that you are putting topically on your skin, or if you're ingesting them, make sure that you can ingest them. That is just my little PSA for you today. Okay, so essential oils, candle, breathing, feeling good. Now I'm going to go get my crystal spheres. You can feel free to grab crystals. I just want to show you. I don't know if I've shown you guys. I think I've shown you before, but here, this is like a collection of crystals that I that I keep next to. I have like 3 of these just here. That's just my stash that's on my desk. That does not count all the other crystals I have everywhere in the house. Anyway, but there may be some crystals that you're drawn to today. Maybe you're feeling, like, oh, there's one that sticks out for you. That may be the one that's going to support you today. Or you don't have to use any crystals. Like I said, and like I usually say, I like my crystal spheres. It's just clear quartz, which is an amplifying energy. And I want to amplify my intentions. So this is why I hold the quartz. Okay, so let's take 3 deep breaths. And when you're taking these deep breaths, I want you to really, really take in deep, deep breaths. And I want you to imagine that you are calling in all the beautiful healing energy from the heavens. And I want you to call in all of the healing, nourishing energy from the earth, and keep your feet firmly planted on the ground, and just pretend that your legs are like straws and just soaking up that energy. Once you imagine that energy enters your body, that beautiful light healing energy enters your body, you can imagine it as light, you can imagine it as however you want, whatever works for you. Imagine that everything sort of mixes in together, like the energy from the heavens, the energy from the earth, and just permeates your whole body, gets to each one of your cells, and just breaks apart any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy. And once it's loosened up, when you exhale, you're going to release it. So you're literally going to intend that you're going to take that deep cleansing breath. You're going to hold your breath. And as you're holding it, you're just going to imagine that healing light and that healing energy is going to break apart anything that's kind of stuck and doesn't belong in your energetic field. And then you're going to exhale and release it. So let's do that. We're going to do it 3 times. Okay. Deep breath in. Let's go. And hold. And release. Beautiful. One more time. Let's go. Deep breath in. Don't forget to expand your lungs, expand your diaphragm, expand your chest, expand. Okay. When you're taking that deep breath, I want you to take in as much as you can. Okay. Let's do that. And release. All right. And one last breath. We're going to do that together and really make it count. Okay. Deep, deep breath in. and release. That was good. And I'm going to make a confession that this is like the only time that I actually do any deep breathing. Well, this and if I do yoga, but like I don't you do yoga typically, except when I went to Kripalu. Then I did yoga and it was awesome. Okay. Anyway, do your stretches now. Okay. So we just want to release any tension and stuck, stagnant energy that's, kind of in our muscles, right? We feel it. You feel the crackling. I feel the crackling. Okay. So we just want to move it around and loosen it up. We want to remove any sort of tension. We want to make it easy to move, right? Go like this. You want to do this and not feel like you're breaking something, right? Oh, stretch. Beautiful. Okay. Now that we've done those stretches, oh, my neck is really, really stiff today. I feel it. Probably because I fell asleep on the couch snuggling with Blueberry yesterday. And I was not in a comfortable position. Okay. So now shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Beautiful. Thank you for joining me in that shake it off experiment. Experiment? No, experience? Whatever. Okay. So now we're going to pull a card. And we're going to do it from the Enchanted Map deck by Colette Baron Reed. I really like her decks. Well, I like her decks for many reasons. I like the Enchanted Map because it is like like a compass, so like I feel like it's a good guidance deck, right? If you want to get a little guidance of the energy of the day, of the week, of the month, of what energy you need to be paying attention to, I like this deck. So I'm just going to start to shuffle. And I know here in the US, it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I do intend on showing up here and just giving a little Thanksgiving message. If I decide that it's a little too crazy for me and I don't show up, I will do a recorded message for you for Me First Mornings. But let me tell you something. I think it's important that you do incorporate this morning routine tomorrow. And we're going to talk about it more. But it's really important that you get your energy calibrated before you start meshing with anybody else. And, here in the States, it's Thanksgiving. But if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving or if you're somewhere else and Thanksgiving isn't being celebrated, we do have other holidays coming. We've got Hanukkah, we've got Christmas. I don't know what other holidays, but I'm sure this is sort of like the season for holidays. New Year's Eve, if nothing else. And it's a time where we get together with family and loved ones. And it's when we start to kind of we get around people that probably push our buttons around this time of year, right? It's stressful because of the holidays, right? Anybody who is celebrating Christmas or Hanukkah and is out like getting presents or kind of in the hustle and bustle, that can be really stressful on its own. And then, of course, everything else that is still going on this planet and the way things are feeling kind of tense and intense. And then you throw in some family and some old generational wounds, and you have yourself a cocktail of explosive proportions. And had to spit on that one. Anyway, it's really tough to get through. And so self-care. And when I say self-care, I don't necessarily mean, go and get yourself a pedicure, although if that's your self-care, go right ahead. But what I'm saying is it's really important for you to calibrate your energy before you connect with other people, especially if it's people that you may easily get triggered by, or, people who test you and push your buttons and test your limits and, don't respect your boundaries. Okay. This is an important time for you to establish your boundaries. You are in charge of protecting yourself. And in fact, this is a lot of what today is about, where you show up for yourself, right? You are your own advocate. No one else is, you may have other advocates, you may have friends, you may have family. There may be people who will stand up for you and protect you and defend you. And that's great. However, you have to figure out how to be your best advocate. You have to figure out how to speak up for yourself, how to set really strong boundaries that people either cannot cross or, that you will set consequences for their crossing, which is like, if you cannot respect this boundary, then we cannot get together, for example. And we're not going to get into the details of that, but it's something definitely to keep in mind. Don't forget that you are the protector of the little person inside of you. Okay, so that little person who, when they were little, were not validated or not protected for whatever reason, or, didn't feel like they had a voice at home or otherwise. You are in charge of now protecting them. You are in charge of giving them what they need, standing up for them, speaking up for them, making sure that they are in situations that are beneficial to them and not putting them in situations that are detrimental to their growth. Okay, so if you think of your inner child as your actual child, what would you do for your child? Whether you have children or not, I think you can kind of conceive of that. If you want to think of your pet, if that makes it a little bit more, you can connect with that more. Like, you would never let anyone mistreat your pet. You would never let anyone say anything bad about, your pet or, your loved ones. So you can't let anyone say anything bad about you. And that applies to you too, right? So that's, you are not allowed to disparage yourself or speak ill of yourself, because that little person, that little child inside of you is listening and going, oh, I guess those things I heard when I was little were correct. And you don't want to feed into the evidence that makes you feel unloved, unvalidated, or unprotected. Okay, so let's see what the cards say. Oh, this is a good one. Here we go. Movement. Okay, so the card is number 23. Keep trying to show you guys, but I can't see it. Okay, there it is. Can you see it? 23. Oh, no, it's not 23. It's 28. Oh, 28. Okay. So it's number 28. Here we go. A nice little ostrich. And it says movement. Movement is so important. Now, of course, in the Me First formula, we have the M, which stands for momentum, which is very connected to movement. And the reason that movement is important, especially now, is because you got to keep energy moving, right? You have to keep the energy moving, because any stuck, stagnant, or dense energy, and it's one of the reasons why we do the Me First morning ritual, anything that's kind of stuck there is holding on to old energy, old emotions, old wounds, old trauma. That's all kind of stuck in our tissues, right? The issues are in the tissues. I know my friend Deb's watching and she says that all the time. I think that, that's probably one of the things they talk about, because she's a masseuse. And so, the issues in the tissues, you got to work them out. Well, we have to work them out, right? We have to work them out in our way. So if you are in a situation, and this is perfect with the, American Thanksgiving tomorrow, or any family gathering coming up, especially for the holidays, when you find yourself in a position that is uncomfortable, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a situation that's uncomfortable, if you stay in that situation and nothing changes, you become like this trapped animal, right? And you start to react in very defensive and protective ways because you're feeling trapped. So what do you do when you're feeling trapped, when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling like there's no way out? You got to move, okay? And sometimes that maybe you need to emotionally move, right? So like from where you are right now, you need to sort of shift the emotions, or you may need to physically move. And that's always a good go-to if you can move away from the situation, if you can physically start adding motion to shift the energy of a situation. That's super helpful. It's just, using your body to initiate the movement of the energy that's stuck or stagnant, right? And remove yourself from the situation if you need to, until you are ready to talk about it, or until you are ready to address it, until you have calibrated your energy so that you can sit down and have a conversation with someone calmly, or if that's even a possibility, because it depends on what the challenge is. It depends on what the situation is. But I highly encourage you to be attentive and pay attention to movement as a tool and strategy to use when you're feeling stuck, when you're feeling lost, when you're feeling disconnected. Get moving, because the motion of that and that energy that gets things moving is going to start to shift that stuck feeling. It's going to start to shift emotions. It's going to start to shift things in your body. Oh, good morning, Cerilia. Thank you for joining me. Okay. So movement, super important no matter what is going on in your life. Now, let's talk about showing up. Sorry, I got like an eyelash in my eye now. Movement. All right. What am I not seeing, people? What am I not seeing? All right, that's just me taking things to that level because there's something in my eye. What am I not seeing? Anyway, you can ask yourself that. But that's a conversation for another day. Okay, so what do we do? So here's the thing. When we are trying to accomplish something in our lives, and, I talked about this in the post for this video, right? We feel abandoned. We have these goals, we have these dreams, we have these aspirations of the life that we want to live or the life we're trying to live or, the life we hope to one day achieve, whatever that might be, with accomplishments and feelings and whatever else that, paints the picture for your ideal life, for your vision of your, happiest life. And when we're trying to achieve that, so often we feel like abandoned and misunderstood and disconnected from the people around us. And it's really easy to say, like my parents don't support me. That's not my case, by the way. Mom and dad, I love you. My parents don't support me. My job doesn't support me. My spouse doesn't support me. My kids take up all my time, right? And we can pile on these very legitimate challenges, right? Or I think about the words I say because it's very important. We think about these potential obstacles. We think about these situations in our life and certain limitations that actually do exist. It's not in our minds. There are things, systemic issues like, in the system, societal issues, things that are blocking us because it is designed to block us from succeeding, for example, which is one of the issues. But one of the things and your only responsibility as the person who is pursuing their dreams is that you have to show up for yourself in the best way that you can, considering the circumstances that you're in, right? So you have to show up. So if there's, a job that you want, okay, you have to apply for it, right? That's number one. I know that seems silly, but I have talked to so many people who are kind of like in this stuckness and this transition of life, and they're unclear of what they want to do. And they're like, I really want this kind of job, but they haven't applied to any jobs that even remotely, look like that job that they want. Now, maybe that's not in their realm of possibilities right now. Maybe you're in a situation where you're like, I have a job right now. It's a full-time job. I have 3 kids. I'm juggling all this stuff. I can't, doing what I want or doing this dream of mine is a pipe dream and it's not realistic. Hello, Rashid. Welcome. Sam, bon dia. Right? And you might think it's a pipe dream to, achieve these things or to, write my book or to become a speaker or, to build my business and say, how can I build my business? I have children to raise. I have things to do. I have responsibilities. I have bills to pay. I can't just, drop everything and do my dream. You're right. You're right. Because realistically, you can't just drop everything. But what can you do? And how can you show up for yourself and for your dreams? Now, yesterday, if you were watching the show, we talked about the relationship between you and your dream, right? So what does that look like? If you never call the person you love or you never make plans with somebody you care about, eventually they're going to be like, clearly you don't want to hang out with me because you never call me, you never hang out with me, you never want to do anything with me. So I guess our friendship or our relationship is really not important to you. And then you might be like, no, my God, I love you so much. You're so important to me. But, I have to take care of the kids and I have to, do these errands and I have to manage my house. And that's very true for all of us, right? And I can speak from my own experience because that is my situation, running my own business and taking care of my family, and I have 3 kids, and all of that plays into it. But if I don't pay attention to the things that I want to do at all, Well, then how do I expect it to just magically unfold in the future? And you have to ask yourself the same question too. What is the thing that you really want to do in your life? Is there one dream? Is there one, thing that you want? And I don't know if I talked about this on the show before, but I may have. Um, but I had this sort of epiphany. And so a friend of mine sent me a video where the video was all about somebody talking about, um, you know, what if you only had one day to live, right? And I thought, well, what a dumb video. It's not dumb, but that was my first like one day to live. If I had only one day to live, I would do nothing. I would just hang out with my family. I'd be like, okay, everybody party at my house. I got one day left to live. Let's all hang out. So it's not like you would be inspired to accomplish something huge if you only had one day to live. You would be like, okay, well, I guess I've accomplished everything I'm going to accomplish. And now I just want to spend time with the people I love. But then I started thinking, what if I only had 1 year to live, right? And what if I had one whole year? So that means I have 1 year that like left to my life. And if I only had 1 year left to my life, how would I show up for myself? How would I show up for the things that are in my vision, right? How would I show up for my dreams? How would I show up for my family, right? Because I can tell you for me, if I only had 1 year, you better believe I would want to spend as much time as possible with the people I love, right? But it's not like you can just spend all your time with the people you love because, we have obligations, we have our lives. And it's not like my family is going to take a whole year off to just sit in my house and spend time with me, right? So that's not really realistic. Plus, with 1 year left, I have an opportunity to build a legacy, to work on the one project that I've been wanting to work on, And I'm using myself as the example, but I ask you, what's the one project? What's the one thing? What's the legacy? What's the legacy that you want to leave? If you only had 1 year and you were like, my God, my whole dream has been to like write a sitcom, or my lifelong dream has been to, you know, give a speech at, Carnegie Hall, or to play in Carnegie Hall, or to, whatever it is that your dream is. And it could be something silly. It could be a dream that you had as a child, or it could be a dream as an adult. Like, I really want to work for a nonprofit organization and impact, as many people as I can for this final year. So whatever that is for you, it's time for you to show up for it. And hopefully you and I and everybody that we know and love have way more than a year. But if you only had a year, you would start to take things very seriously, and you would stop, biding your time. You wouldn't bide your time because you'd know, I only have a year. So you'd have to learn how to balance, right? And you guys know I don't like that word balance, because there's a lot of, sort of anger and resentment attached to the idea of balance, but you would have to figure out how to make time in your day and make room in your life for everything you love, right? So if you're a singer, you'd want to make sure that you sang every single day. If, you have a family, you'd make sure you want to spend every single moment that you could with your family, spending time together, making memories together. And so how can you both nurture and care for the dreams that you have and take care of whatever project you have, while also taking care and nurturing your relationships? And because all of those things are important to you, all of those things are things you love, but you're the one that has to show up for it. So how are you going to show up for it? You have to ask yourself, what can I do in order to get the things that I want? What actions can I take, right? What do I have to do to prepare to receive this in my life, right? If you always wanted to live in a spacious home, right? Well, then you better get decluttering. You better move your butt. You better get things going, right? Because only you can take care of whatever you need to do in order to get what you want. Because even though other people can help you and other people can support you and other people can give you tools and strategies and absolutely be there for you when you need them, they can't do the work for you. They can't show up for you. You have to show up for yourself. So how are you going to show up for yourself today? How are you going to show up for yourself in 2022? Now's the time to start thinking about that. What can you do to show up for yourself and for your dreams? every day. Hi, Mom. Hola, Ana. Bon dia. So that is today's little pep talk. I hope it was helpful. Remember that I am here Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. EST. Please don't forget to subscribe to my Jumpstart for Change YouTube channel. Go ahead and press that subscribe button. Ding the notification so that you'll know when I'm live right away without any hesitation. I really, really appreciate you being here. I hope this was helpful. And for those of you who will not be tuning in because of Thanksgiving tomorrow, I wish you a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. And I am grateful for you. And I am grateful for all the wonderful things that you're going to do in the world. Thank you so much. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.